This ain't good, guys. I told you Glenn's got a bad temper. Wait till you see what he did to my car. Well, obviously, guys, we gotta talk about Glenn's psychotic hair trigger temper. This is over me not doing an unboxing video. But first, I want to check out this guy, because it looks like it's got nice details, and these 10 fastest Mopar ones are nicely done. So I'm looking forward to getting into that one. Have a look at this record breaker.
Now we're going to do something extremely fun.
And what do? I mean, he smashed it up. He hit it once with his truck. I've got to pay for the damage to his bumper on his truck. When I was 240 pounds, he was tossing me around like a rag doll. Like I'm 70 pounds less or something. What am I going to do? Just stepping out for a quick cheat, guys. But if you haven't figured out, that's a St. Olaf story. Now, my car did get damaged today. And I've got a picture of how it got damaged. Luckily, I wasn't hurt. Nobody else was hurt. In fact, nobody was in the two vehicles when the accident even happened. It's kind of funny, but I'll tell you about that at the end of the video. We got some good updates. A couple good updates. So let's have a cheat quick. We'll get inside and I'll go over the good news we got. Before we get into everything, guys, I want to apologize to you guys. Through the week, I could be a little bit, takes a bit sometimes for me to respond to my messages. Reason for that is because I'm a shift worker. And a lot of times I'm exhausted and it comes down to either I check my messages or I get a video done because of my ADHD. If I go into my inbox, I won't just answer messages. I will start conversing with people and nothing will get done. So it's not that I don't want to respond to you all right away. It's that if it's through the week, especially if I'm on the 4 a.m. shift, I'm not a real conversationalist because my brain is mush. I will get back to you, but sometimes it might not be right away. It might take a few hours, it might take a day. I will get back to you though. I apologize. I'm human. So I hope you all forgive me. Let's go into the set and get into this.
You're fired!
What? Relax. I said I was sorry. Fired. Holy, relax. Anyway, before we get into this, I will give you guys a couple positive updates we have. First, I think that's going to be detailed. Nice. First detail. Miami Vice. It hit customs in Mississauga. It's supposed to be ready at the post office for me to pick up tomorrow. Now, if I was going by the Amazon tracking, any of the tracking apps, I wouldn't know that. It would just say that it has just been processed. There's an app I want to tell you guys about. This isn't a paid commercial. I don't get paid, sponsored, none of that. It's something a friend put me on. David Paperno actually put me on to this. It's an app called Shop. And you can shop through it. It combines a bunch of different apps on it, like Amazon, my diecast car apps. Like it sees what I shop for and it'll send offers on that. But what I like about this thing is every package you order, and it doesn't even have to be through the Shop app. Say I order something from Passion Diecast tomorrow. Boom, it'll show up in the Shop app with the tracking when it's coming and everything. And the tracking is a little bit more detailed. Like, it doesn't say anywhere when I'm going to get it on Amazon. It just says between this date and this date. But on that thing, it's connected to Amazon, and Amazon's telling it it's going to be delivered to the post office tomorrow. So it's a little bit more in-depth and detailed, and it's trustworthy. It stores some of your payment info as well if you're not too nervous to do that. it's actually trustworthy in that way as well. And by the way, it wasn't any of my credit cards, anything that got compromised recently. It was my Visa debit card. If you didn't hear, somebody used my Visa debit, bought a bunch of stuff from Amazon. Luckily, they deemed it a fraud within seconds on the phone. I'm being reimbursed. It's going to take within 15 business days, but luckily it was nothing to do with the shop app, anything like that. Just something that happens with shopping online, with electronics, stuff like that. So before we get into this, second thing, I'm always telling you guys about strategy, about getting this stuff on the cheap. This channel has an agenda. It's not just to show you guys unboxings and for me to show off stuff. It's to show you guys how to get stuff like this on the cheap. Because over time, in the long run, it's very important what you pay going in, okay? Because if, God forbid, you ever have to sell, you gotta at least get your money back or make a few bucks. Stuff appreciates. Luckily, when I sell stuff, I don't lose from what I paid for it. Like a lot of people would see my stuff on Marketplace and say, wow, he's gonna lose a few bucks selling that. Nope, because I made a few bucks on this other thing. I average it out. But Glenn, about a year ago, when he came to us, when he moved here, he could shop around online and stuff, but he wasn't good with knowing the prices and values and stuff, and he was paying a bit too much on some of his stuff. But me and Dave have been working with him, and he's been doing what we tell him, stuff like that. This weekend, he got himself, so he had the Starsky and Hutch Greenlight Artisan car, okay? The one that I just did the video on. It's decent, but he has the ERTL Starsky and Hutch Chrome Chase, the ERTL one, the same one that I have, but the Chrome Chase. They look okay together, but the Artisan, the doors don't open. Glenn's like me, he wants the hood to open, the doors to open, right? He's a little bit more of a connoisseur. So his skills got good enough that he was able to get himself a Starsky and Hutch ERTL, the exact one that he wanted, and not pay a penny out of pocket. And you know how he did that? He did that by one of my techniques. I would call something like the Starsky and Hutch Artisan that he had a placeholder. Like my A-Team, my Greenlight A-Team 118 van, I technically call that a placeholder because it wasn't my first choice. My first choice would be the Hot Wheels Elite. I don't want to pay $300-400 bucks. So I'm going to keep the Greenlight, and I'm happy to keep the Greenlight for the rest of my days if I have to. But if that Hot Wheels Elite one shows up, $200, $250, sold, and then I will sell the Greenlight. Now, in that case, I'm not going to get the full value, obviously, Greenlight compared to the Hot Wheels Elite, right? But it is going to take $100, $125 off the cost of it for me. So if I get that 18 van for $250, it's going to cost $125 if I sell the Greenlight off. And I've got the original box, the original inserts to do all that. And Glenn was able to sell the Starsky and Hutch Artisan for basically what he paid with shipping and stuff, which was retail cost. And he's not losing anything because a lot of people would think, well, why would he sell that for $100? He could have got $125 for it, blah, blah, blah. He's basically trading it for the car that he wanted that's worth more money. Like, it's a no-lose situation. And, he did that on his own. A year ago, he would have never done that. He would have went out and said, I want the ERTL Starsky and Hutch. He probably would have paid somebody $200 or $250 for it. But he's really, really, really upped his game in the last little while. So congratulations, Glenn, who's sitting here with me. You can't see him, but he's been doing very well. And I just want to tell you guys that you guys can do the same thing. Like, it's not magic. Glenn is doing it. Dave is doing it. We're all doing it. There's even Gordon, young Gordon that watches my videos. He's doing it. He messaged me the other day a deal that I seen on Facebook Marketplace. And I said, wow, somebody got a good deal on that. That's a deal of the week. And he messaged me and said, I got that deal and I got it by watching your videos and doing what you do. And I was tickled to hear that because I love to hear that. I want you guys to do well. I want you to save money. I want you to build your collection the way I did. Like, I've got all top-notch stuff and everything I got, you guys know what I paid. So yeah, we got Miami Vice coming, and if it comes in tomorrow, I don't care how tired I am, it's getting unboxed. So, and yeah, I wanted to tell you the update about Glenn. And Saturday, well, either Saturday or Sunday, I have to confirm it with the seller. But Saturday, I have to go pick up a deal that I got. A lot of you viewers have seen it because I made a reel of it already on my Facebook and I believe on YouTube here. But my friend Chris Chris C, he's been, following me from the beginning. Before I had a social media, like a public one and a YouTube or anything, he just seen something in how I hunt stuff, right? And he was always watching me, and I was telling him how I hunt on Marketplace, and he was soaking it up like a sponge. And lately he's been nailing stuff. And he got me because he knew that I would want this, and I was busy, whatever I was doing. He closed a deal for me, $80 for a Dukes of Hazzard lot. Actually, I'll show you guys. Check it out. Tried to zoom in for you guys, but he got me that lot for $80. Thanks again, Chris C. If you know, you know. What do you think of that, guys? Marketplace was popping this weekend. I could not believe it. Glenn also got himself a ERTL 1 of 18 scale Knight Rider car for $1.25. It's loose, it doesn't have a box, but it's physically mint. You do not see those often on Marketplace. Either there's not a lot of them or people don't want to sell them. But that's one that you don't see a lot of. You see more General Lees than you see that, I'll put it that way. Yeah, he scored that for $125. And the kicker to that is if you watch my unboxing video the day that I got my Knight Rider car and Glenn's Silver Screen Machine General Lee, they're boxed. It's a good video. It's a road trip and stuff. My Knight Rider car, although it was mint, it was the first release. There was something about it that wasn't as authentic. And you know what it was? It's just something small, but it drove me nuts. The little lights on the front of it, instead of them being clear, he's got they did two of them in orange, like orange clear. They're supposed to be clear. They did a second release of it, fixed that. Glenn's got the second release with the clear lenses. Damn you, Glenn. But yeah, so yeah, he didn't notice that. I pointed that out to him. The first thing I did was look at that in the picture. I said, ooh, he's got the second release, because that's more screen accurate. So the one that he's getting for $125 is more screen accurate than the one that I have because of those lights. So that was awesome. Yeah, Marketplace was popping this weekend. And the good thing about Marketplace, guys, once you start using it and searching stuff on it, you set your searches, stuff like that for alerts and all that, but it starts feeding you ads automatically because it starts knowing what you search for. So a lot of times I'll click on Marketplace and I'll have one of the killer deals of the week pop up in front of me. Like I don't even search for it. Click Marketplace, boom, it's in front of me. Wow. But it's because it learns what you look for and it learns your price range probably. Like it probably learns a bunch of little things about you. And yeah, the ads that it sends you are tailored for you, and I get a lot of good ads without searching for them, I'll tell you that. So that's another positive about using Marketplace. Kijiji, I don't use it nearly as much, although I still do check it a couple times a week. Not long ago, if you remember, we got Dave's 1 of 18 scale ERTL bullet in the box for $75, and that was his Christmas gift, actually. Yeah, and that was on Kijiji, and that was listed for almost 100 days, because it says how many days listed. It was listed for like 88 days or something like that. So people aren't using Kijiji like they used to, I guess. So I still check every once in a while. Of course, now that we're trying to locate one for Max, I used to see them around all the time for $100 or less. Now they're like 150, 200, but that doesn't mean anything, Max. We will find you one. It goes in waves like that. Like that's just the luck of the draw. Usually, it's funny, I'll get myself a car and I'll get myself what I think is a killer deal on it. And then a week later, I'll find it for $50 cheaper for Dave or Glenn or Giuliano. Like it's just luck of the draw, but we will find you one. Normally I don't make guarantees, but I can almost guarantee you we will find you an affordable bullet car because I have seen that many of them in the past year, whatever. Okay, so this beauty, after we've had our updates. Now this one I've been eyeing up for a while, guys, just something with the way it looks, the detail, like even the Hemi on the hood, the red line tires, it just looks great. What I see of the interior looks awesome. And from my experience, these ones and the racing ones, the 50 years of Mopar or whatever, or Hemi, I can't remember which one it was, they put a little bit of extra details into them, it seems, because they're beautiful. So I'm looking forward to this. This is, I'll read you the back, guys, and I'll try not to shake. Forgive me if I do. Okay, American Muscle 10 Fastest Mopar 1969 Plymouth GTX. Mention Mopar to anyone lucky enough to have driven one of the brutish Dodges or Plymouths of the 60s and early 70s, and you're likely to be greeted by a faraway gaze and knowing smirk as they recall fond memories of being pushed back in their seats by the force of the high compression power they commanded with their right foot. Whether it was a tightly wound small block or a ground-shaking big bore engine, the Hemis, Wedges, and Rams led the movement that created some of the wildest muscle cars ever, and this exciting new series of replicas pays tribute to the 10 fastest Mopars of all time. And this was one of them. And it looks like he was a record breaker, quarter mile at 14.20 seconds. Doesn't seem fast for today, guys, but think of how heavy this car is. That's huge. Speaking of big Mopars, when I was a teenager, about 16 years old, my best friend that I grew up with, Frank, he was just here on the weekend visiting me, actually. He's from the Sioux, but he lives a couple hours away, so he comes to visit. His dad, when we were in high school, bought from this old man a 1970 Dodge Monaco. And it came with the 440 Super Commando in it. And it was cosmetically all nice. Like his dad just had to do a couple things to it. But back then he only paid $2,000 for it. And over the years he put dual exhausts on it, put a nice set of wheels and rims on it. Still has it to this day. Like I remember sitting in that as a teenager, going to car shows with him in it. We used to go to a big car show in St. Ignace, Michigan, because the city I grew up in, remember, was a border town. Sault Ste. Marie is a border town. I can go downtown Sault Ste. Marie, cross over the bridge over the Great Lakes, and be in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, which if you watch Simpsons, reminded me of Shelbyville on The Simpsons. Like it was, you could walk across the river in some shallow spots to the USA, but the people just seemed different over there. And they said the same thing about us. It was funny. But I used to love going over there. I'd get the gallons of chocolate milk. Their chocolate milk's way better than ours over there. But the St. Ignace Car Show, when I was growing up at least, was the biggest one in North America. It was in St. Ignace, Michigan. I remember I met Linda Vaughn there, the Hearst lady, and she gave me an autographed photo. I wish I knew where that was to this day. Me and Frank each got an autographed picture and got to meet Linda Vaughn for free. Yeah, it was just huge. I remember, I think I saw Knight Rider there one year, actually. My dad brought me there and they had Knight Rider, I believe. It wasn't the screen-used one, but for me being 11 years old, whatever, it was good enough for me. Yeah, look up St. Ignace Car Show. That's a big one. There's probably videos on YouTube about it. It's a pretty famous one, too. At one time, the biggest one in North America. I don't know if it still holds that title, but I remember hearing that when I was a kid. First thing I look for is paint rash. Remember all the ERTLs, guys. I never had one with paint rash until the one that I just did. What was the one that I just showed you guys of mine that had? Oh, my Starsky and Hutch. When I was showing Glenn's Artisan with the perfect paint, Glenn's Artisan collection that he just sold. I gotta ship it out tomorrow. It's got beautiful paint. My ERTL is the only ERTL I have out of all my ERTLs with paint rash. And it's pretty bad paint rash, but you don't notice it unless you get up close to it, look at it in the light, thankfully. When I say pretty bad, I mean it's in a lot of areas on the car, but... And we're going to take that off the base to deband it, I think. Yeah. But, yeah, I was shocked because I never noticed it when I initially unboxed it. And that, I don't believe I noticed it anyway. But that is my first ERTL with paint rash. And I believe that's the only one that I ever unboxed with paint rash. And at least you guys know I'm not biased. Well, I'm biased, but I'm at least honest. I love ERTL. I am a little bit biased to them, but I could have noticed that paint rash and been like, paint's perfect here, guys. But no, I showed you guys up close and told you. But like I said, thankfully, it's the only one ERTL I have. They do their black paint. Man, it looks good. And this only has 2 screws holding this in, thankfully. This is from, I believe, 2002. I'm not sure. I will tell you guys in a second. Now, being ERTL, remember, I'm going to bet no opening trunk. I'm going to bet no opening trunk. And the reason I'm taking it off the base is so we could have a good look because it's got the cardboard backing. And we don't want to remove that if we don't have to, because we want to keep all this stuff mint, the inserts mint. I know, guys, I know I sound like a broken record, but it's very important you keep anything like this mint. Like, it might look like garbage, but yeah, so just a run-of-the-mill yeah, the paint's gorgeous on this. This is nice. Look at that grill with the red highlighting. I like that. What do the plates say? GT Tex. Oh, Texas plates. 1970 GT Tex. I'm gonna look this up. I wonder if these were like real street racers or something and there was like a... I don't know. Or maybe it just says Tex because it's from Texas. And GT because it's a GTX. And instead of GTX, GT Tex. Door handles are not molded and just painted silver. Like, I was really disappointed when I seen that on one of my ERTLs. I see that, I get disappointed, but it's not just ERTL that did it. I've seen it a lot, and ERTL didn't do it often, thankfully. They got these, they look like the ones from model kits. Nice looking dual exhaust sticking out the back. Bottom nicely detailed. Like, I would say the details on this are a little bit above average. And I think they tried to do it like that because it's for the, what was it for? The 50th anniversary of the Hemi. Right there. So, debanding rule, guys. Don't try to cut the bands. We want to take the bands off because they do damage over time. We've already shown that in videos and stuff. But you don't want to do it where there's paint. Obviously, with a knife, you want to do it on the bottom of the car. That way, if you have a mishap, it's not going to be something you see. And you cut away from yourself. Always. Always be closing. Always be closing. If you guys haven't seen Glenn Ross, highly recommend it. It's a 90s movie. Reminds me of my days, sales days, 12 years of them sitting in a chair calling people, everything from insurance to credit cards over the years to lawn care, everything I sold. Okay, I'm not going to show you guys the engine yet. Okay, so first thing, no opening trunk. We're okay with that. The roof, I like how that's detailed. See how they put the textured. I think that's a nice touch because you do notice it well. So I will show you from the passenger side first. Oh, nice details. The door has wood trim on it. Doors open nice and wide so we can see those details. And again, we're going to have another look up on the look-see set under different light conditions, different angles. Doors open and close nicely. They've got those reliable ERTL hinges. Only time the ERTL hinges did me bad is on my Smokey and the Bandit ERTL, one of my more valuable ERTLs, sealed in the box, but it's like the thing came a little bit warped. The way the hood closes, I've got to close it and pop it down a certain way to be level. The door fixed itself. I don't know how that happened, but over a year, the door doesn't do the funny thing it did before. Dash looks awesome. Door with the wood grain, window crank. If you're a fan of this car, the details of this are above average, I would say again. Okay, so wheels turn with the steering wheel. Again, a heavy casting like this. You don't want to be turning the wheels with the steering wheel if it's sitting on the table or something because it can loosen it up, damage it. Always try to do it in the air or do it with your hands if it's on the table. Now for the good part, guys. I cheated and took a little glimpse. I love the red line wheels. I love the red line down the side of the car on the black. Normally I'm not a fan of green, but I've been eyeing this car up for a while. I like it. And that ugly green is a period correct color. I like that Hemi on the hood with the red stripe. I just like how it's done. I like it as a whole, as a package. Plus, I'm a Mopar guy. Through and through. Okay, so let's pop this hood open. Plymouth little details are good. Okay, the engine, I would say that's where it falls down to more average detailing. No wiring at all that I could see. It does have the rad hose going from the rad to, but there's no other hoses, wiring. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. You could see the alternator. It's done in chrome, black heads. Not horrible, but it could be a bit better. Could be a bit better. That, I would say it's not bad. It's average. Wheels turn nice. Okay, guys, so we've had a good look at it over here. Now I think we need to go get some glamour shots. Now, if you're a Mopar guy like me or a fan of the Plymouth GTX in general, this casting might be for you. It's got the period correct color. Above average details on the interior, I believe. See that old school Speedo. Sorry about the shakiness. I've got it zoomed right in to show you guys. Just a little bit above average though on those details. Above average is good. I'm enjoying the whole package of this, right down to the red highlights on it. The stripes. It's got the red line tires. Then it's got that red stripe down at the bottom to kind of break up that monotony. And the white GTX. Well done, but not overdone. And like I said, normally I am not a fan of that color. But correct is correct, right? And that's period correct. Not to mention the black roof, black striped hood, and black stripe on the bottom break it up beautifully. Let's have a look under this hood under these lights. Under the hood is nothing negative, but leaves a little bit more to be desired. It's got the rad hose, but no other plumbing to speak of or see. I do like how the air grabber is detailed though. That is nice, nice touch. So it's not terrible. I just think they did so awesome on the body and on the interior. A little bit more into the motor, and they'd have had a winner here. Although I will still recommend this for GTX fans because she is a beauty. Look at the butt. A true land yacht. Lighting it up beside the OG ERTL bullet charger. And I figured the GTX would be a bit longer, but looks like the charger is longer by a nose, surprisingly. But that's how it looks sitting with another Mopar. So if you're wondering, I'm going to go ahead and give this guy a 6.5 out of 10. It would be a higher score if the engine was just a tad little bit more detailed, because I like the rest of the car. But I'm going to give it a retro score of 6.5 out of 10. Black and white question. If you like that car, do I think you should grab that casting? Yes. Yes, I do. I think you'll enjoy it. I think it'll look great on your shelf. They likely even have, actually, you know what? They wouldn't have that one in different colors because that's modeled after an actual car, the one that broke that record on the quarter mile. So you might be stuck with the color, but it's after a real car. So if you're a drag race fan as well, that's a plus too. Anyway, guys, thank you much again for tuning in. I'm glad I had a positive update to give you, not just, oh, Miami Vice is coming sometimes, guys. I swear I ordered it, to Should be at the post office for me to pick up tomorrow. I'm hoping when I finish work, it'll be there. And if it is, I swing by, pick it up, come home. I might not even have a shower before I unbox that bitch. I think I might just get right into it. So we look forward to that, guys. And don't forget, this weekend, you got to come with me on a road trip to keep me company. Because I'm not sure if Glenn's going to come. Look at that halo on my head. You got to do what I'm telling you to do. Come on. My head's glowing. I'm an angel. On the real, though, we got to take a road trip to get the Duke stuff. And it just happens to be in Woodstock. Do you know what else is in Woodstock? A triple killer, 3-story antique mall. When I was there about 3 or 4 years ago with Diane, it was about 50 to 60% collectibles. Like, it wasn't just a big building full of junk. And some of it was like, there was definitely deals to be had. Now, it has individual vendor booths that are controlled by different vendors. So you might see a guy with very reasonable, awesome prices, and 2 booths down a guy that looks like he friggin' smokes his morning coffee out of a pipe. But that's just how it is. Like, you just gotta sift through and find the stuff you like for the price that's right for you. And that's what you do. But when I was there last, there was definitely deals to be had. So if you guys are ever passing through Woodstock, Ontario, I believe it's only open on the weekends though. It's the Antique Mall in Woodstock, Ontario, but check the hours before you go. Anyway, guys, please just hammer on that like button for me today. Give it an extra headbutt for me, then hammer on it again. But make sure it stays down on like, please. Hit the bell notification if you haven't already. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button, give it an uppercut. If you got collector friends, tell them about me too, because don't forget, once I hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to do a giveaway. And it's going to be something cool. Haven't figured it out yet, but it'll be something cool. And 1,000's not very far off if you look at my sub count. It's coming, and it's coming quick. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you what happened to my car. I would have left you guys hanging. Anyway, it was kind of a freak thing. Check this out. Well, guys, I returned from lunch at work today. Parked my car like usual, put the e-brake on, walked inside. I took my jacket off, put it in my locker, turned around, looked out the window casually, and I was shocked when I seen that my car rolled around 15 feet and ended up like that. Wow. Like I said, guys, just a freak thing. You got to think, it'll be 5 years in March that I've been parking that car there in that parking lot. So it was a total fluke. There's the e-brake's not faulty. Sometimes I don't pull it hard enough because when I first got the car, that e-brake, I ended up replacing the e-brake, all the brake and everything. But that one, I used to have to crank on it and I snapped one of them, the cables. So now, ever since then, even though I've replaced everything, I'm always paranoid, and I think today I just didn't do it hard enough, and yeah. But it didn't roll away as I was getting out of the car, because I would have noticed it, and luckily it didn't knock me to the ground or anything. But I could not believe when I looked out and seen that. It looks worse than it is. If I want to fix it, guys, scrapyard, get a new door, $80. The hardest part would be because my windows are all tinted. I'd want my tinted windows, take them off the tracks of the smash door, put them in the silver door. And it would have to be a silver door because I'm not driving a Frankenstein color car. That's not happening. It's already old enough, but it's an easy fix. I was telling Glenn it's funny because if I went through insurance, they'd be like, oh yeah, send it to a body shop. Body shop would probably be like, oh, we got to do this and that. It's going to cost $1,800, whatever. They're literally just going to go in this case and get a silver door from the scrapyard and throw it on. I know I wouldn't be repainting anything or anything like that for that. I'd get one that matched, you know, if you can. But I wouldn't be doing body work anyway. The only thing that has damage is the door. The frame around it, nothing damaged. So I could literally pull the door off and pop one in. Lucky. Any words. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. Hopefully next time you see this ugly mug, it's to tell you we got Miami Vice here. Happy hunting, guys. Stay safe.
You mean you eat other people's lunches? Stop it!
Hey, apologize, Goof.